timeline was certainly a mess, and Hollywood Street King was twisting facts and falsehoods to paint the desired narrative. Clearly, there had been a connection between Jay-Z and Kathy, and they had indeed partied together alongside P. Diddy and Claudia Jordan in Las Vegas. Now that was out there for the whole world to see, but combining that with the false narratives being painted by these blogs, Kathy White's reputation was seemingly in tatters. She'd been labelled as Jay-Z's mistress, and the only evidence were paparazzi photos from one party and a bunch of anonymous sources that were demonstrably lying. Unfortunately, the truth would only matter so much, as only about a month after this blog, Kathy would meet her untimely end under incredibly suspicious circumstances. On the 28th of August 2011, the celebrity tabloids were buzzing as Beyoncé would step onto the red carpet during the MTV Music Awards, holding her tummy, something she would later also do at the end of her performance during the award show. This was ultimately the announcement of her pregnancy with her and Jay-Z's first baby, Blue Ivy. The news about Queen Bee's pregnancy would be so popular that it would actually break a record on Twitter, getting the most tweets per second ever at the time. Unfortunately, as Bey and Jay celebrated the news of bringing a new life into the world, another life was about to be lost. A few days after the MTV Awards, on the early morning hours of September the 1st, around 3 a.m. New York time, or about 12 a.m. Los Angeles time, Kathy White's good friend Cheryl Maxwell would tweet to her other good friend Nikki Chu, telling her to call her as soon as possible as there was an emergency concerning one of their friends. Then, later that morning, her friends would confirm the sad news that Kathy White had died almost exactly 1 year after the rumor about her and Jay-Z's relationship had started. Next day, the blogs and forums would begin to post the story, reporting the cause of her death to be an aneurysm at the young age of 28, with these articles also recapping the rumors about Jay and Kathy's relationship, as well as predicting Illuminati conspiracy theories that naturally would follow. This angle was also immediately predicted by the first commenters on Lipstick Alley, who had started their own threads reacting to the news, commenting that YouTube conspiracy videos must already be in the works. But other commenters were also quick to point out that Kathy's death so soon after Beyoncé's pregnancy announcement did appear to be rather suspect. This would be followed by one user jokingly suggesting that Jay-Z had gotten Kathy murdered as part of some sort of dark Illuminati ritual. And sure enough, the Illuminati and other conspiracy-minded people would soon enter the chat, slowly beginning to build the theory that Jay-Z had in fact gotten Kathy out of the way, perhaps to stop her from exposing something major. One even more wild theory circulated online that was in fact Beyoncé who arranged the murder of Jay-Z's mistress, with this theory being mainly based on lyrics to Beyoncé's song Daughter, where she sings about her violent thoughts in the face of infidelity. When you look at the lyrics of Daughter, they do paint a disturbing picture. In the first lyric, Beyoncé sings about being covered in blood with her body laid out on a filthy floor. Also a reference to Kathy White's apartment being a mess, strewn with clothes, as was claimed in one of the Diary of a Street Kings articles, which cited former friend Claudia. In the song, Beyoncé goes on to explain the crime scene, saying that a bathroom attendant let her in because she was a fan. Later on the song, seemingly hinting at her desires to even kill Jay-Z himself after saying she's bottled her feelings up like bottle service frauds. Another interesting line when you remember the pictures from the party that Jay-Z and Kathy White attended, which depicted Kathy holding a bottle of champagne. Now, more level-headed conspiracy theorists pointed out the simple fact that a healthy 28-year-old dropping dead from an aneurysm was incredibly unlikely, but of course others would wonder whether the famously ruthless Jay-Z would really do something this awful to protect his image. While some pointed out that in the midst of the mistress rumors, she had moved cities and begun acting paranoid on Twitter, and of course some tinfoil hat-wearing commentators went off the deep end, calling this a human sacrifice. Although to be fair, most of the people on the forum in these early days would not find these conspiracies believable at all, but of course nobody would come out as hard as our boy Jasper from Hollywood Street King, who would soon drop his now deleted blog post titled The True Story Surrounding the Death of Jay-Z's Mistress, Kathy White. In the post, Jasper claimed that his source inside the NYPD this time told him that Kathy's cause of death was at this point considered unknown, apparently suspicious. However, in Jasper's quote of what exactly the NYPD told him, suspicious is shockingly nowhere to be found, with the police essentially explaining to him how the cause of death could not yet be confirmed as no autopsy or toxicology report had been conducted. Jasper would also mention that the police had told him that the address where the 911 call about Kathy came from was an apartment at 130 West 19th Street. She was later taken to the Beth Israel Hospital where she passed away. Jasper would then move on to discussing what he had recently heard from his other sources, with one of these sources alleging that Kathy had recently been contacted by a journalist from a major tabloid newspaper. Although she had apparently been tight-lipped about everything, she had then allegedly contacted Jay-Z to tell him she was planning on going public with their affair. Interestingly, as we'll learn a bit later, this part about Kathy being contacted by a journalist from a major tabloid soon before her death indeed be seemingly confirmed as true by the journalist herself many years later, with this being yet another example of the ways that actual insider information in Jasper's reporting was seemingly getting randomly mixed in with sensationalist and what
There's
often appears to
somebody
be purely
here.
incorrect information. In a first
What
version
is
of the
up?
blog that
What
spun
is
to the
up?
form of the Lipstick Alley thread concerning Kathy's death, Jasper would also appear to allege that
Just
he had been
chilling
told that
for me.
Kathy was a
Oh
high-priced call
man,
girl, essentially
you
an
left
escort.
me
However, Jasper would
already.
seemingly later delete this fallacious claim.
Story of
Allegedly
my
also
life.
that this information was about to come out through a major tabloid. Meanwhile, Kathy's friends on social media also increasingly began
Jump
to
on
react to
and
her
talk
death,
to me.
reflecting on how short life can really be, and to the blogs, again labeling her as Jay-Z's alleged mistress, with Claudia in particular, who'd seemingly been contacted by some of these blogs and other tabloid media, coming out strongly to deny that Kathy was ever intimately involved with Jay-Z, even going on to say that she was being stalked at the time, and complaining that people were really digging into the rumors and she'd spend all day defending her fallen friend. Interestingly, Claudia's tweets would also reveal that her and Kathy had experienced a falling out at some point, as Claudia would explain how they'd had a phone call about a week before Kathy's death and resolved their misunderstanding. This revelation understandably raising some theories that the falling out might have happened as a result of the rumors beginning to spread about Kathy and Jay. The allegations that Claudia had actually talked bad about Kathy behind her back.
You're
With one blog post
back.
suggesting that Claudia had badmouthed Kathy out just,
Somebody's
with the other one
back.
suggesting that Claudia had been the one who outed Kathy and
Come
Jay's
say hello
relationship
for a
to
minute.
Kathy
You
and
ain't gotta
possibly reason
stay.
for their fallout. Soon there were
Just
also
come
other
on
bloggers
in,
with some wild
take a
theories,
seat,
with one of these presenting a rumor
and
that
then you're
Jay-Z's
off.
old friend Emery Jones, who Jay-Z had helped get released from prison by promising to hire him to his clothing brand Rockaware for a steady employment, might have been the person that had something to do with Kathy's death, with one article explaining how Jay-Z had contacted the judge to get Jones out of a 16-year prison sentence
Just sitting
37
here
years early,
watching
with a promise to pay him
YouTube,
$50,000 job at Jay-Z's company. Jackson,
Jay-Z.
on the other hand, was only getting started and would soon come out
Why
and
are
make
people
another
just
post, this time doubling
dropping
down on
by
the
and
claim
not
that Claudia and Jay-Z
staying?
were preparing to take Jay-Z down, discussing
Funky
another
people.
long-held rumor that Jay-Z had already had a child with a woman from the Caribbean and he had paid to stay silent. He also provided a quote from the tabloid who had contacted him, with a journalist allegedly telling him that all of Kathy's friends, except Claudia, had been admitted that she had been in a relationship with Jay-Z. The quote then ending with a
Drop
crucial
a
question:
cigarette.
what do you expect to see in professional journalism? Jackie, do you know if Jay practices Satanism? The foul play angle was also gaining more
This stuff
popularity
is
among individuals and
crazy.
forums like the Lipstick Alley, with salacious posts suggesting that the aneurysm was used as a cover for the real cause of death, and a wild claim that Kathy had the same ring as Beyonce and that Jay-Z had bought a condo in New York City for a mystery woman, while other posters had their cake and ate it too, claiming that aneurysm-induced death had been used to cover up murders for years, also saying that Jay-Z is way too soft to be human bodies. At this point, only days after Kathy's untimely death, the writing was already on the wall, with the internet clearly becoming increasingly convinced that there had been foul play and somehow Jay-Z had been involved. Interestingly, in Kathy's old online obituary that's still accessible via the Wayback Machine, to be believed, even an investigative journalist from the New York Post tried to get in contact with her family in the weeks following her death. Although this might just as well have been an online sleuth trying to fish more information whilst pretending to be an actual journalist, nevertheless, despite Jasper's claims that a major tabloid was looking into Kathy and Jay's relationship and were about to go public in a major way, with even a possible New York Post journalist attempting to get in contact with Kathy's family to look into the death, in the months and years following her passing, no major articles would ever come out, and the story would only stay alive in the gossip and conspiracy forums and the blogosphere. At times, these stories gained more momentum, like in 2016 when Kanye West made an infamous speech on stage in Sacramento where he claimed that Jay-Z had killers. The rumors were eventually also dug up by content creators on platforms like YouTube and TikTok coming into the late 2010s and early 2020s. However, in late 2023, the case would suddenly get a huge new boost, as another hip-hop mogul ended up getting in hot water, with the implication being that if he went down, he'd be taking Jay-Z with him.
Yeah. If Diddy goes, Jay-Z goes too.
Begun truly hitting the internet with force in late 2023, following the explosive lawsuit by his ex Cassie. These rumors and allegations will eventually begin to affect also those people close to him, particularly Jay-Z. One of the people going hardest against Jay-Z was none other than one of his toughest competitors during the 2000s, one of the hardest trolls to appear from New York's rap scene, 50 Cent, who will begin to post on social media following Diddy's downfall about how Jay-Z was nowhere to be found when his supposed friend needed support, with 50 Cent clowning Jay-Z with a post showing Jay-Z's picture as a missing poster on a milk carton with a caption saying, Diddy says Jay isn't answering his phone. And there's another post showing an unflattering picture
Oh
of Jay-Z
Lord, have
with
mercy, them
lips,
lips.
caption saying Jay is in hibernation, he's not coming out of the house until the situation with Diddy blows over, as well as seemingly referencing the cancellation of Jay-Z's infamous Rock Nation brunch. Perhaps the subliminal implication being that Jay-Z was also afraid of his own skeletons coming out next. Meanwhile, as mentioned at the beginning of the video, the singer Jackie Wright, who used to work with Jay-Z as a backup singer in the 2000s, was now all over the internet attacking Jay, with her undeniably entertaining interviews where she would claim to expose all kinds of dark secrets about her former colleagues, which ultimately gained millions of views.
You want to know what makes Diddy being publicly shamed like this so left? Sean Carter is worse.
Who?
Sean Carter is
so many people on the internet trying to figure out where you are, they're watching you, they're doing all types of stuff trying to figure you
You
out.
wanna know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and gripping you? Tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit. And Cassie, that's nothing.
So are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
Say it for Carter. Because everything he did to me, he's got it on too. Just like Diddy. Anyone crazy, it's gonna be the women that get him in the end.
So you say that
Jay-Z. And I think it's time for him to start speaking up about his very good friend. Just not once a clear singing his praises. All that he's done for the culture. And then you gotta be crazy like Diddy to make it. You sit next to him at the crib. Told everybody that he had cougars. And canceled the Rock Nation brunch. Which is your favorite event? Because that's how we violent people use grounders. Like y'all did with Clarence Hill. And I told you I would. And I'm gonna keep my word.
Hello.
You're gonna pay me in full.
Are you gonna just drop by and leave too? It's the last people, last three people, just then you did it again.
Last question.
Okay.
I actually did this earlier, but I just want you to go even more and go to detail. What do you predict will happen next in the future? You know, it's like you see it before it happens.
Kathy White's true killer is going to be unveiled, and it's not a man. And that woman died screaming. Show him the tape, Diddy. You got it. That might buy you a little time. We should probably stop looking for plastic surgeons. Looking for a new life, new face.
But Wright wasn't the only one coming out with some very serious allegations, because in March 2024, the journalist named Liz Crokin would come out claiming that she had been in contact with Kathy in the weeks leading up to her death, whilst working for the major tabloid Star magazine, pretty much exactly like Jackie Jasper had claimed only days after Kathy's passing in 2011, and that Kathy had first denied ever hanging out with Jay-Z. After the journalist confronted her with the photos from that night in Vegas, she would eventually imply that she was ready to go public with her relationship with Jay. And in her 2024 Substack article titled Jay-Z, Murder and Mistress, the journalist would also claim that following Kathy's death, she would hear from sources that Kathy had told Jay she had planned to go public about their relationship, and that she had run a small story about Kathy in the Star magazine in 2011, but after wanting to do a follow-up piece, her boss had shut her down. The article that Crokin is likely referring to is probably this one appearing in Star magazine's September 26, 2011 issue, where Crokin mainly focuses on the rumor regarding Jay and his alleged son with a model from the Caribbean named Chanel Scott. But she also has a small additional mention about the death of Kathy and her alleged relationship with Jay. However, already in 2017, Crokin would imply on her Twitter that she thought Jay's killers that Kanye had mentioned in his infamous rant on stage in Sacramento were the same killers who might have taken out Kathy, with this showing that Crokin had clearly been believing and investigating this angle for years. Indeed, in her Substack article, Crokin also alleged that years after publishing her original article mentioning Kathy, sources who knew both Kathy and Jay-Z would tell her that they strongly believed that Jay-Z had gotten Kathy killed, and that he even had coroners in his back pocket that could have bribed to fake the cause of death. Crokin would also refer to a 2020 gossip blog about an A-list host/model who Crokin would take to be Claudia Jordan, allegedly claiming that she had come to the conclusion that an A-plus list rapper had killed her friend, with this likely being a reference to Jay-Z and Kathy One. However, Jordan herself has publicly seemingly never even hinted at coming to such a conclusion, and even her more recent mentions about Jay, such as her commentary on the Fox Soul streaming platform where she's a host, seemingly been very neutral towards it.
Also, do you guys think, and this is also like just to throw this out there, as far as Jay-Z, like, it could be he's afraid, right? Or it could also be he's a huge star and a target. He's succumbed to this paternity test. Like, how many other people want to come out and waste time and get attention off his end? Because, there's probably a million girls that could say, oh, I have a picture with Jay-Z, I messed around with them, or whatever. That might be kind of frustrating.
Crokin would then end her Substack article by going through some other related factors, such as claiming that during the 2011 times, Star magazine was getting constantly contacted with tips about Jay-Z's different mistresses, as well as a rumor that Jay's friend Diddy has also been accused of murdering his ex, Kim Porter, the disturbing allegations that were made by Diddy's former producer Lil Ron, as well as going through statements made by people like Jaguar Wright and listing Jay's previous encounters with the law, such as his stabbing of the producer Lance Riviera in 1999, which I also covered in a previous video 4 years ago. Check that out if you want to know the story. But at the very end, Broken would seemingly dive off the deep end, as she would dip into infamous conspiracy theories regarding people like Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager John Podesta and the performance artist Marina Abramovich, who she claims to be Jay-Z's good friend. Now, this is certainly not a political video. Whether or not you believe in conspiracy theories or not, that's your business. But with the goal of practicing responsible content creation in mind, it's certainly relevant to cover this part of Broken's journalism, because she's certainly no ordinary tabloid journalism. And in fact, she hasn't been one for some time now. In recent years, long since leaving behind tabloid magazines like The Star, Ms. Broken has become particularly known as a conspiracy theorist and devoted Trump supporter, who's gained great prominence amongst America's right-wing political circles by promoting conspiracies like Pizzagate and QAnon. I don't trust that personally, but it's up to you. In the end, we'll perhaps never know what truly happened with Jay-Z, Kathy White, and her untimely death in 2011. And for legal and safety reasons, it's important for me to end this video by saying, despite all my research into these rumors, I personally have not seen any concrete evidence that Kathy White was murdered. I don't personally believe Jay-Z and Beyonce are responsible. And everything we've discussed in this video pretty much has been salacious rumors from dubious sources, many of which we've proven in this video to be actually false. This whole thing is a conspiracy theory, likely the result of people looking for a salacious story in what in reality is probably just a freak health incident that was very unlikely, entirely possible. In fact, when it comes to brain aneurysms, although most people affected are over 40, women, particularly African American and Hispanic women, still have an elevated risk of suffering one. These things do happen. But whatever did transpire, perhaps the saddest thing in this entire story is that Kathy White was a real person, a real family, friends, a career, and what seemed like a bright future ahead of her. She was clearly an intelligent and confident young woman who had graduated from an esteemed university and created a seemingly successful life for herself in the world of entertainment in Los Angeles, where most people attempting the same thing would likely fail. She made it, as well as later also seemingly succeeding in New York. Yet all that seems to be left of her now is the rumor of her being Jay-Z's alleged mistress. A very unfair outcome. So rest in peace to Kathy White, a bright young soul who had her whole life ahead of her. Another reminder that no matter what happens, life is precious, and we can go at any minute. So make the most
That's
of it
true.
and stop believing in crazy conspiracy theories.
Life is too short.
Until next time, peace out.
Mm.
Gene Deal, happy to have you back on the platform, my man.
Oh man, you gotta get a new intro. We probably did that like umpteen times. But it's good to be back on the Art of
Gene Deal.
Dialogue, bro.
Hey, man, that's my style, man. But I want to get right into it.
He done
man.
wrote a
How
book
old
and
is
everything.
How you feel about them revoking Diddy degree?
Well, I think, bro, first, they should have never
Know
even
one
gave
thing.
him an honorary degree.
That's a big
He
brother
had
to
so
be
much dirt up under his
guarding
name.
anybody.
Why would they give him an honorary
He
degree?
looked like he
It
could
was
chew
all about
bullets.
money, bro. It was all about money. Look at this, bro. Let's just do a timeline. He went to Howard University as a student, flunked out, had incidents where he had allegedly beat some girl up. Then he gave a party that people got trampled at. Right? This is Howard University. Now he comes to New York. He gives a party at a basketball game that 9 kids died. Right? He made statements in the media that he used to sell weed while he was at Howard University. Now, we're gonna keep
You
going.
foul.
He allegedly was hanging around with gang members that, quote unquote, may have been responsible for killing Tupac Shakur. They got all this information, right? Now,
Police ain't doing nothing.
there's been
Yeah,
some things
that
that
just
came out, that
exposed.
they have saw that was on television, him cursing a woman out. I think that was Lori, one of the, she was a choreographer, cursing her out, even probably trying to put hands on her. he had so much stuff against him and had piled up against him. Why would they give him an honorary degree? It was all about money. Now, when this whole thing comes out with Cassie, they decide to take it back. When in fact, what did he do? His whole actions and everything he has done was nothing honorary in it for him to get a degree from anybody. But they go and they take it back. Bro, they look real bad right now. They look bad for giving it to him, and they look bad for taking it back.
Right, right. You're speaking of that, you know, the key to New York, right? How you feel about the mayor of New York thinking about taking that key back from Diddy?
Man, Mayor Adams, the mayor of New York, for little or better words, is out of his rabbit ass mind. How do you get a key to the city to somebody that was partially responsible for 9 kids dying at a major university, city college here in New York? How do you get somebody a key to that? How do you give somebody a key that prior to him getting the key, a woman comes on television saying, on YouTube saying that he beat her? They got investigators, bro. They had all this information on Puff, man, before they did all that stuff. But it was his money, it was the people that he was involved with that led them to do some of those things, and it was about political gain. Mayor Adams was out of his rabbit ass mind for giving Puff a key to the city. When he had all the information on Puff, everything that he done. Their investigators like, yo, people was looking at Mayor Adams like, yo, something's really wrong with you, man. But money is the root of all evil, along with politics. Yo, Mike, listen here, bro. This dude, for better or worse, has been despicable for a very long time. And I've been speaking on it along with your platform that has helped me speak on it to try to let the people know what he had did to the people around him. I said once before, his legacy won't go down in history as if he was a good dude or he was doing something positive for everybody around him.
Yeah, you called it, man. It ain't looking too good for Diddy, but I want to get into this Rolling Stone article, right? They did like a 6-month investigation on Diddy, and they confirmed that Biggie, he was leaving Bad Boy.
Didn't I say that? Didn't I tell everybody that Biggie was preparing to leave Bad Boy, and everybody was saying, how did I know? I told them I seen the contract. Me and Biggie had a conversation the week before he died. I was in a Winnebago, and Biggie was telling me his whole life story, and I was telling everybody I didn't know why this kid was telling me his life story. It's something that he had to feel. It's something that he had to know for him to sit there and tell me the stuff that he told me, bro. You understand? He wanted his marketing and his publishing back. That he said that the management that he had at the time, Mark Pitts and Wayne Barrows, who were Puff friends, basically talked him into selling his publishing to Puff. You know what I'm saying? And when I spoke about it, people talking about how he know it. I'm getting it from the horse's mouth. He's telling me the story. I already read all his contract when I was on a plane coming to California. I told y'all Puff gave me a briefcase. Say, I ain't got shit else to do. And read the contract. And at the end of the contract, it said, we will revisit your marketing and your publishing at a later date. Puff's gonna have to sign the contract for I think it's life after death. the double CD without giving his publishing and his marketing back. So now Big, he's about to go, I think it was Capitol, he was signing a deal with Capitol. You understand? With all those different groups. And Puff was not, listen, Kirk Burrows said that Puff told him, man, you'll be dead before I give you all your publishing back. Wow. Never seen that one.
I ain't hear about that. So you said two of your friends told Biggie to give him his publishing?
Well, Mark Pitts and Wayne Barrows, they were doing the management. Those are Puff friends from college. Mark Pitts and Puff went to Howard. I think Mark probably graduated, I don't know. But he stayed at Howard, then he came to work for Puff. They were both, all of them was trained by Kirk Brown. Now they all executives, either in the music business or Big's estate.
So of course they're gonna be looking out for what's best for Diddy.
Why do you think Bad Boy never got sued? Why do you think Miss Wallace never sued Bad Boy or Arista? Because the same dudes kept that lawsuit out of her mind. They did not have enough security or proper security for the notorious Big in the height of the East Coast, West Coast war. What the media had already planned out to be, it was a war. Pocket died, there was gang violence on both sides. Why do you think Miss Wallace never sued Arista or Bad Boy? Because her management, Big's management, the people that took over their estate, was all friends with Puff.
And you feel like she should have sued them for bringing Biggie out to LA with a lack of security?
Bro, I was a New York State parole officer, and I also was an investigator. When I first got out there, I called Kirk Barrow. My man, we don't have enough security. There's not enough security here. I got Puff, Kenny got Puff, Paul Alford has Big, and I'm gonna do what I do.
Welcome to the greatest outdoors. When you live here, nature is your permanent address. With homes for every walk of life and a thriving community at your doorstep. Modern living while living off the beaten path. Because at Tahale, you can live in the middle of nature without living in the middle of nowhere. Welcome to the neighborhoods. Explore homes and learn more at tahale.com.
And Kenny, I forgot Kenny, Baylock or something like that. Kenny, Kenny Baylock has, they just got named Kenny Baylock. Paul Alford and some cop from LA got Big. Two people for Puff and two people for Big. Now they got entourage. People around us in the entourage. How do you look out for all those people? Arista did not provide proper security for Big. At the video shoot they did, because they had these militiamentary men, and they were on top of their game. And they only hired 3 of those. So Big had 5 people doing the video shoot. After the video shoot, he only had 2. The whole time, he only had 2. Come on, man. Get out of here. Wasn't enough security. Arista should have been sued, and Bad Boy should have been sued.
And speaking of that, Rolling Stone, they revealed that Diddy, he was fighting with, Biggie attorneys before Biggie died over the publishing.
Well, he didn't have to fight on him. He owned them. Biggie mother was trying to get his publishing because she knew that's what her son wanted. Puff wasn't going to get that up. Hell no. Do you understand what? I think Big probably, did he go diamond? Did that album go diamond? He sold 10 million copies? You know what the publishing is on that? 1 point is worth about $1 million. 1 point on that album is worth $1 million. So if he owns all what he owns with Bad Boy, plus what he owns Big 24%, Bad Boy automatically take 50%. If he got 75% of that, and 1% is worth $1 million, that's $75 million he get off the rip. My numbers could be wrong, but damn. Oh no, this is a whole lot of cheddar, bro. A whole lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. But also this Rolling Stone article, right? They revealed that Diddy, he attacked a female with a belt when he was in college outside the Harriet Tubman dorm.
Bro, and Howard University still gave his mom an honorary degree. Knowing that stuff was reported. Knowing it was reported, they still gave him an honorary degree. Cash ruled everything around them. Ooh, it's the money. Dollar bill, y'all. It's crazy.
You think they knew that back then?
Bruh, they reported that. Anything that happens on those campuses, the RAs, I lived on them. They write up a report. It goes to the dean of students. You understand what I'm saying? It goes to campus security, and they know about it. They keep a report of that.
They must have really wanted that donation from Diddy, man.
Well, they didn't know at that time that he was going to be who he is. But still in all, knowing that he did that, knowing that he did some of the things at Howard University, because he made statements. He said, I used to sell joints. You know, that's back in our days. They used to sell a joint for $5 or a joint for $1. When they buy probably an ounce of weed, roll it up and to single joints and sell them. They used to do that. He said that himself. That's what he used to do. At college. That's what you give an honorary degree to? Man, I'm just ashamed of our system and our people sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty thirsty. If they knew that and they still gave him that honorary degree, yeah, man, they must have really wanted that donation, man.
Yeah, that'll change a whole lot of money. Change a whole lot of people's minds, man.
But my question to you is this, right? If they knew this when they gave him, the degree, why is they taking it back now? Do you think it's because of the pressure they get right now, or?
Well, it had to be the pressure because they have other contributors. They have other donors. You understand what I'm saying? And they supposed to represent a higher standard. Education-wise, one of the greatest fraternities in the world was founded there. Omega Psi Phi. All those different people give donations and contributions to Howard University. Now here you got somebody who has a doctorate degree that beat a woman right there for the world to see. Yo, take that back. You're making us look bad.
Crazy, man. And also this article, right? Felicia Newsom, she was the first manager of Bad Boy Recording Studios. She detailed a time where she had to hold Diddy back from beating a female after a fight broke out. You heard anything about that?
I'm not familiar with that, brother. But I don't believe a woman could hold Puff back. Puff ain't one of those dudes that if you ain't a big dude like myself, you're not just gonna hold him back if he really wanted to get somebody. So I don't believe she held Puff back. Puff didn't really want to do nothing to her. And she probably got in between. But Puff ain't the dude. Did you hear one of his bodyguards say, yo, he threw me, I was looking at one of the things, man, and one of the bodyguards said, yo, I was trying to stop him, and he threw me off, and went over there to Cassie or Kim, and started hitting up. And that's crazy. He never would have done nothing like that to me, Wolf. Never. Not at all. So it may have happened, she got in between, but if Puff really wanted to get to her, I don't see no woman stopping her. Not at all.
So that story a little suspect to you.
It's suspect to me if Puff really wanted her. If Puff really wanted that girl, she couldn't stop Puff. Not at all. Like I said, I've seen Puff throw dudes his size. One or two dudes that was a little bigger than him was playing him like he couldn't do it. I'm like, oh, you understand what I'm saying? So my whole thing about it is I don't believe no woman stopped him from doing that.
Yeah, I don't see that. But when I was reading this article, Kirk Barrels, he did tell the time that, after Biggie was killed, he was advocating for Biggie to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. And Biggie said no. He made a comment saying that, no, Biggie is dead. I'm putting out No Way Out. I need to be on the cover of Rolling Stone.
I was bodyguarding Puff at that time, and I bodyguarded him through that whole Rolling Stone interview. And the crazy thing about it is that I remember that whole story vividly. You understand? Puff was doing No Way Out. He was taking the runs of Bad Boy and putting it on his shoulder because it's his company. He had to do the music. But they wanted to do, like, Big had a short-lived life, but the legacy, you understand? And Rolling Stone at that time, you talking about 97. It wasn't too many of us on that Rolling Stone. It wasn't too many of us on Rolling Stones. And Rolling Stones could have been considered what some people may say somewhat of a racist newspaper. A racist, publication. They wasn't making us like our culture. They wasn't putting us on a magazine of doing articles on us like they've done in the last 10, 15 years. You understand? So back then, for them to put Big on there and say it to his legacy, that would have been something real big for Rolling Stones and for Big and the people from New York, Brooklyn, and the hip-hop culture, because he did lose his life for nothing. Puff advocated and said that if I own the marketing and I own the publishing, what could they do? They can't market Big on anything because he owned most of it. They had to get his approval. That's what people don't know. That comes into the marketing part of it. But I do know of an incident with Rolling Stone prior to Pop and Big being dead with one of the Rolling Stones reporters. And that was crazy. And I spoke about it before. You understand? That's when Tupac, Suge, me, Puff, and Kenny, and Riz was together, and we met behind the House of Blue. Now, if you want to hear that one, I can tell you that story. And that story, oh, yeah. We were interviewing with Rolling Stones, and I'm sure it was Rolling Stones. It wasn't Billboard, it was Rolling Stone. And
You're in the castle too, Mickey.
Riz was in the behind the passenger.
Mickey,
The
I made you
reporter
something.
was in the middle.
It's a castle for
was
you.
behind the
Mickey,
drive
my
seat.
tooth is growing back.
And
I was checking if my boob was feeling better, but it's still bleeding. Can we come show you, Mickey?
I sure will.
we was driving
Well,
behind the House of Blue.
you can't keep your
We
eyes
see
open.
Tupac and we see Suge.
Actually, you have
Suge
to
was
close
in a
your eyes
red
because it's a
drop top. I guess
surprise. It's a
Rolls
present,
Royce or
Mickey.
Bentley.
It is.
Yeah, so you have to close your eyes so you
Is
can't.
in a white
We'll
Rolls Royce
count
Bentley,
if
both
you.
Okay,
drive.
I'm coming.
And it was a van, a couple of car lengths back behind them.
I'll give you
I knew
one.
they was with them because there's no way
Thank
they
you.
And I got you this. And what
wasn't me. It was